No black, no gay, and no Jewish people. That is the rule in this white-only town being built in Arkansas. Nope, this isn't 1950. It's happening right now in 2025 in the Ozarks. A group called Return to the Land has built what they proudly call a whites-only community on 160 acres in the Ozarks. They've got cabins, roads, fences, wells, community center, and even a private schoolhouse, all for people who pass.
Yo my people, welcome back to my channel Iyano Show KE. Hope you're good, hope you're fine. I just want to appreciate you for just tuning in my channel. In case you're new here, just consider subscribing. So guys, there is a story about a new white city built there in Arkansas. There is a city that I say that white people have now to come out now to build these white people, and they say that they don't want black people there. This is the only white city. So guys, many of these white people have reacted to this story. Many are saying that their idea is good. Some are saying that they don't need racists there, and we see that the founders, the millennials and Gen Zs, who are the founders, have come out clear to speak about the same, saying that the reason why the reason decided to build that white city. And you see that most of the white city are going there, building the city in Arkansas, there in America. So I've compiled these videos of white people reacting to the story of building a new white city there in Arkansas. So guys, if you have any comments about this new city, don't go instead there. Let us leave the comment section. Let us view your reaction to this story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and
no black, no gay, and no Jewish people. That is the rule in this white-only town being built in Arkansas. Nope, this isn't 1950. It's happening right now in 2025 in the Ozarks. A group called Return to the Land has built what they proudly call a whites-only community on 160 acres in the Ozarks. They've got cabins, roads, fences, wells, community center, and even a private schoolhouse, all for people who pass their strict racial and cultural tests. To live there, you must be white with European ancestry, straight, Christian, and you cannot be black, Jewish, LGBTQ, or follow a non-European religion. They vet applicants with video interviews, and some are even asked to prove their ancestry. The founders, Eric Orwell and Peter Sears, say that they want to create a, quote, fortress for the white race. In their own words, you want a white nation, build a white town. Now, here's the thing. They're calling it a private membership association to dodge federal housing laws. Basically, they sell membership shares through a company called Wisdom Woods LLC. And rather than traditional deeds, which they claim makes them exempt from anti-discrimination laws like the Fair Housing Act. And shockingly, well, maybe not, there's already 40 people living on the site and hundreds more worldwide are applying. They say they have things like goat herding, homeschool programs, flute recitals, and even a white baby bounty, basically rewarding white females for having more children. And I saw one of their interviews, and even their dog is white. And get this, they're not stopping in Arkansas. They've already announced plans to expand into Missouri near Springfield. Now, civil rights groups like the NAACP and Anti-Defamation League and state officials are calling it what it is, a modern-day experiment in segregation, racism, and legal loopholes. Arkansas's Attorney General is investigating, but as of right now, this community is still operating, still growing, and still recruiting. This isn't just a hate group in the woods, you guys. It's a test case to see if they can build a future where civil rights laws don't apply, as long as they call it private. This is insane.
My name's Nikki, N-I-K-I. I'm 32. I'm a lady.
This is Return to the Land, a group of millennials who organised online to build something radical and controversial. A town for white people only, that they insist is completely legal. We spent several days with them, watching as the men set about the physical labour of building out the site. All the while, the women of the group took on the more typically trad, homesteading type roles.
I guess I found the people through Twitter that ended up starting this project, actually spearheading it, and I went out to the first April event last year, and it was really fun.
The sort of white-only aspect of this, how important is that to you guys?
Given the premise that it's something that is kind of off limits for whites but is okay by implication for other groups, I do feel it's necessary to carve that out, and you kind of have to do it yourself.
It's kind of like if we don't do this, the laws are only getting worse as far as freedom of association goes, so it's kind of like we have to do this, or there might come a time where it's not possible to.
Are you guys aware, sort of, people are going to be watching, it's going to be controversial?
I think people just have a large misunderstanding of what's happening here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the biggest misunderstanding?
Well,
That we hate everyone else. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not about that
Yeah,
by any means.
it's a loving movement.
I mean, on that aspect of it being loving, I suppose the counter argument would be it could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do, and I think that's great for them. And it's like, if other people are allowed to do it, I don't really see why whites aren't allowed to do it. It doesn't make any sense. So it's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
How many lawsuits have we gotten so far? None? No one wants to sue us. Have they not heard? We are making a whites-only community in Arkansas. No one cares. No one else is allowed. We are not allowing anyone else but whiteys, like solid white people. No one with melanin in their skin cares. Do you think they just didn't understand? They do understand, and they're actually happy about it. But did they hear that we're not even taking Jews? Even the Jewish community is happy about it? Don't understand. Are you sure you're reading it right? What are they saying? They're saying take as many people as you can. They don't want to be the people we're taking. No. Segregation is supposed to make people mad, not this kind of segregation. Okay, I mean, do they know about Missouri? They said we can have Missouri as well. Wow, Arkansas and Missouri. What about what we're calling it, return to the land? They're laughing at that. Okay, so what do you think we should do? Get more segregated? Not let women and children into the community? Well, then who would we victimize? Nobody's suing us over this? What do you mean nobody cares? Just laughing? No, I mean, Arkansas, the great state of northern Arkansas, who doesn't want to come to this community of ours? No one wants to come to Arkansas. The real estate agent told us everyone wanted that piece of property. Okay, well, so we'll just start in Arkansas, then we're gonna move to Missouri. Missouri's even prettier. Still nobody? How about I say it louder? Whites only community. We're gonna broadcast it, let everyone know, only whites, non-Jewish. How segregated can we get this? Still.
This isn't 1925. It's not a history lesson. It's right now, and it's happening in Missouri. A group called Return to the Land, a so-called private membership community, is trying to expand into the state. On the surface, they talk about ancestral values and traditional living. But you look closer, and you'll see exactly what this is. It's a whites-only community. There's no diversity, no inclusion, not even Jewish people are allowed in. They already have land in northeast Arkansas, and now they're looking to set up shop in Missouri. And their founders say they've already talked to attorneys who believe they have a legal argument for all of this, based on quote-unquote freedom of association, which means they're ready to take this to the courts. And with the current makeup of the United States Supreme Court, that should concern everybody. Because if they win, that sets the stage for more of these communities. More modern segregation, fully legal, state by state. One of their recruiting videos shows a bunch of guys doing pull-ups in the woods, chopping trees, talking about building a future. They frame it as safety, family, and tradition. But what they really mean is, as long as everyone looks like them, they're fine with it. This is how it starts. They find a legal loophole, claim it's about culture, and hope the courts give them cover. So, Missouri, are we going to let this happen? Because if we don't speak up now, this doesn't end here. It spreads. Call your lawmakers. Share this story. Let Missouri be the line in the sand.
We are white identitarians. We value our identity and want to preserve it. That's not hate, that is love for your own people.
That was Eric Orwall. He's the co-founder of this new exclusive community, Return to the Land. It's in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas. Its founders are excluding anyone who is not straight or white.
I'm not asking for supremacy over anyone else. Return to the Land is not a supremacist group. It's not a hate group. It's not even a white nationalist group.
I just spoke with New York Times reporter Deborah Kamen. She visited the community. Here's how she described it.
It's still being built. It's actually quite premature at this moment. In October 2023, the creators of this community, Eric Orwell and Peter Siri and 3 other people, bought the land. It's 160 acres, and it was pretty raw, unfinished land, quite wooded, kind of difficult terrain. They have now brought about 40 people there, a couple families, some kids. There are some cabins that have been built. They've bulldozed rough gravel roads. Eric himself has a shed that has fiber internet and insulation. He makes a lot of YouTube videos there. There was a computer set up with a ring light. He is also a musician, so he has 2 pianos in there, and that's where all of his bookshelves are, including the copy of Mein Kampf. And there's some play structures for kids. Other than that, it's still rough. There were some goats, there's a river, there's a creek, but it's definitely not finished yet.
People get mad at white people for starting functioning white communities. It's like, you know how happy we'd be to see black people start a functioning black community? Like, we would leave you to it. We would be, oh my goodness, good for you guys. Unironically, please. Like, you already have the demographics in Jackson and Detroit. There are 0 scenarios where the political outcomes of those cities are not entirely within the parameters of black organization and responsibility. So turn it into Wakanda. Like, I would feel solidarity and pride with a 95% low crime, high productivity black city, or several in the United States. I wouldn't be like, we need to get in there and diversify it. I'd be like, no, let them do their thing. And if a bunch of Caucasians want to go in the woods and milk goats alone, shut up. We've underestimated how central tribalism, like ethnic tribalism, is to the human condition. And in trying to demonize it, we've repressed it to the point that it's now coming back with a vengeance. But it's not innately evil. You can still have in-group preference, a desire to preserve your culture and way of life, and have solidarity with a community of people who are like you, while respecting other groups. And like, let me just say, white people don't care if black people want to be left to their own devices. I promise you. So weird watching black people get
They're not building an all-white community in the Ozarks. It's already been built since 2023. We're just hearing about it right now. Not only has it been built, but they're trying to build 4 more campuses, and they want to expand across from Arkansas over into Springfield, Missouri. Now, they chose Arkansas for a few reasons. Number 1, the cheap land. Number 2, aggressive policies. And number 3, lax building codes, because they're building all of their own structures, and a lot of them have no clue what they're doing. I'm not making this information up to try to make them look stupid. Like, this is what they actually said. This is what the founder, Eric Orwell, says in the documentary through Sky News Network. So basically, this guy in Sky News went and lived with them for a little bit. I don't think he lived with them for that long, but he mostly just followed them around, asking them questions, doing interviews, and then compiled it into this 25-minute documentary that you can find on YouTube. They have community dinners, a schoolhouse, and the community is built intentionally based on your race. They call it shared European ancestry. It's also called the Return to the Land movement, which is super ironic because whose land are they returning to? Clearly not theirs, especially if they're going on ancestry. The whole entire thing is full of Yahtzee coded references and slogans like 1488. This couple in particular wants to make sure that there's rules about who can be your neighbor. But the really interesting part is that you have to have certain ancestry. You cannot be LGBTQ+ in order to enter, and you also need to be Christian, right? But their slogan, not their slogan, their emblem, does that look Christian to you? No, it's from Norse mythology. It is considered a private members club, and they have little plots of land that you can purchase and then you can build on. But it's really rustic living, like ticks, bugs. Obviously, the buildings are not up to code, so they probably don't have proper insulation, air con, heating, all those things. They're basically camping. And here you can see one of their slogans is to cultivate wholesomeness, beauty, health, and hope. They're trying to model their values after the Virginia settlement. They have about 40 people at the main campus right now and 6 children that they homeschool all in one-room schoolhouse. And the founder gets to choose their curriculum. This is definitely the start of a cult. They're also waiting for the second coming of Mustache Man.
You ever hear about that town in America being built just for white people? No? This is happening right now, though, in Arkansas. And honestly, we should all be seriously concerned about what this means for our country. Let's break this down. There's a group in Arkansas right now called Return to the Land, building what they call a fortress for the white race. This isn't a joke or a conspiracy theory. It's a real fenced-in community, nearly 160 acres, run by a guy named Eric Orwell, where only people of European ancestry are allowed in. To even get in, you have to go through a vetting process where you literally prove you're white. They ban Latinos, blacks, Muslims, LGBT plus people. They homeschool the kids there, and they're literally growing up thinking segregation is normal. There are around 40 people living there right now, and hundreds more on a waiting list because this group plans to expand across the country. They want to build more towns like this. Here's why. They said it's about wholesomeness, beauty, health, and hope. But let's be honest, when your whole thing is keeping out anyone who doesn't look or pray like you, that's not hope. That's hate. And get this. They're legally structuring the town as a private members association with an LLC, so they think they can get around anti-discrimination laws. They say we've done thousands of dollars of legal research. The Attorney General of Arkansas even had to step in and say racial discrimination has no place in Arkansas or anywhere in a free society. But let's be real, these folks feel empowered right now. And you know why. Because this administration, the current president and his crew, they have normalized this kind of thinking. They talk about being anti-woke and then act surprised when stuff like this pops up. This is what happens when you make everything about fighting woke. You get people so scared of diversity that they go off and build an actual whites-only town. I have to ask, how much do you have to hate Latinos, black people, and anyone who isn't like you, that you'd rather build a walled-off settlement in Arkansas than live in the world with the rest of us? And what about the kids growing up there, learning this is what America's about? What happens when they leave and realize the world is more than just one color and one culture and one religion? Let's stop pretending this is just some fringe thing. These groups are popping up all over the country, and they're using the legal system, social media, and political climate to make segregation feel normal again. And I'm sorry, But that's not just anti-woke. That's anti-American. If you agree that this is not the direction our country should be heading, let me know in the comments. Also, if you disagree, I want to hear why.
He seems to even go on and support Hitler. Let me show you a little video.
We've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture. Yeah, not just white, but white American.
But what this sounds like is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I mean, it's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out.
You don't let everyone into your home.
This is their symbol. Eric insists that what they're doing is entirely legal. He says it's a private club, so it's exempt from equality legislation. And just so you know, there are plans to expand this in other areas. I thought I'd leave you guys with just a little more information that you're probably going to want to pause and read from Eric Orwell.
What do you mean nobody cares? Just laughing? No, Arkansas, the great state of northern Arkansas, who doesn't want to come to this community of ours? No one wants to come to Arkansas. The real estate agent told us everyone wanted that piece of property. Okay, so we'll just start in Arkansas, then we're gonna move to Missouri. Missouri's even prettier. Still nobody? How about I say it louder? Whites only community.
So, I've been seeing a lot of posts about that failed whites-only town in Arkansas or Mississippi or whatever place that was. I hadn't really heard of it, so I wanted to do a little bit more research into it because, one, what? Seriously, what? Two, I was curious as to why anyone would want to do that. I know why they would want to, but I wanted to know what made them realistically think that that was a feasible and or good idea. Obviously not, because it failed, but I found something that I don't think I've seen anyone mention, and I really want everyone to see this. This is something. Now, as you can imagine, the people that would do something like this, probably not totally with it in some regards. But they tried to push the culture, the whites-only culture. So just take a look. Now, some of the highlights. Peaked at 40 residents. It's not a very big town with only 40 people. Down to single digits, which is probably just some angry dude. But the big one. This one. Attempts to enforce white American culture through mandatory flute concerts and historical reenactment. What does that mean? What is a mandatory flute concert? And are these normal flutes? Are they doing a wind quartet? Or are they doing full toga, pan flute craziness? Don't know. And then the other thing, they required press coverage. That's just classic rage-based stuff. We all know about that. But part of why they failed was the mandatory flute concerts. This is the bad place. Crazy people.
Alright guys, let's talk about it. Y'all hear about this new community in the Ozarks? It's supposed to be an all-white community they're starting up, and the news outlets are condemning them, calling them racist. I want to know what y'all think. Do y'all remember back in 2020 something called Freedom, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, where 19 black families put their funds together and bought some land to start an all-black town? The news outlets were making them out to be so honorable and such a hero to the black people and the black community. So, how have we come so far in America but have these double standards? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. How do you feel? Are you okay with Freedom, Georgia, but not okay with this?
Whites only community. Only white people are going to be allowed. Probably shouldn't listen to that. So only white people are going to be allowed. What do you mean people aren't mad about that? Okay, but they're supposed to get really mad about it. Well, how about not just only whites, but no Jews either. We want whites only that are non-Jews. And we have the best attorney. Nobody's suing us over this? What do you mean nobody cares? Just laughing? No, I mean, Arkansas, the great state of northern Arkansas, who doesn't want to come to this community of ours? No one wants to come to Arkansas. The real estate agent told us everyone wanted that piece of property. Okay, well, so we'll just start in Arkansas, then we're gonna move to Missouri. Missouri's even prettier. Still nobody? How about I say it louder? Whites only community. We're gonna broadcast it, let everyone know, only whites, non-Jewish. How segregated can we get this? Still no, okay, so we'll call this whole thing Return to the Land. Does that make people mad? It does, because it's funny coming from white people returning to a land that was never theirs. Okay, so we'll call it Return to the Land. We'll start in Arkansas, expand to Missouri. What if we say we're gonna go into all 50 states? Does that make people mad? They're still ignoring us. How is the top liked comment, no one gives a shit? Okay, well we need to set up some interviews. The second most liked comment is Good Riddance Whitey's. Okay, now I'm offended. We need to get this on national news because we want people pissed off, because that's the only way we can feel anything emotionally, you know. Who's gonna build our homes? What about the Mexican restaurants? Who's gonna open and run those? I don't know if we thought this all the way through.
So I was telling my daughter and her fiance about the whites only. This Jewish woman is like, let them all go. All the hateful white people, take their orange leader with them. And as I'm telling my daughter's fiance, she was just cracking up.
It's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Like,
I thought Gen Z was supposed to be cool with it. So, not allowed, person of color, not allowed, gay, Jewish, not allowed Jewish, and fucking glad they can keep all their hatred and white shit culture bullshit.
I'm a Jewish woman and a witch, so.
That's right.
My name's Nikki, N-I-K-I, I'm 32. I'm a lady.
This is Return to the Land, a group of millennials who organised online to build something radical and controversial. A town for white people only, that they insist is completely legal. We spent several days with them, watching as the men set about the physical labour of building out the site. All the while, the women of the group took on the more typically trad, homesteading type roles.
I guess I found the people through Twitter that ended up starting this project, actually spearheading it, and I went out to the first April event last year, and it was really fun.
The sort of white-only aspect of this, how important is that to you guys?
Given the premise that it's something that is kind of off limits for whites but is okay by implication for other groups, I do feel it's necessary to carve that out, and you kind of have to do it yourself.
It's kind of like if we don't do this, the laws are only getting worse as far as freedom of association goes. So it's kind of like we have to do this, or there might come a time where it's not possible to.
Are you guys aware sort of people are going to be watching, it's going to be controversial?
I think people just have a large misunderstanding of what's happening here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the biggest misunderstanding?
Well,
that we hate everyone else.
Yeah,
it's not
about
that
by any means. It's a loving movement.
I mean, on that aspect of it being loving, I suppose the counter argument would be it could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do, and I think that's great for them. And it's like, if other people are allowed to do it, I don't really see why whites aren't allowed to do it. It doesn't make any sense. So it's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
The leader, Eric Orwell, wants the community to grow and further what he calls traditional white American culture. And the group is explicit about this. It has an online fundraiser to give cash rewards to parents of newborns as a means to incentivize population growth. Just before we arrived, they donated $1,000 to a family for having their 6th child. Is that part of the mission as well, to sort of have big families, to make the community bigger? Is there a sort of pressure there?
I don't feel particularly myself, I don't feel any pressure to like have a big family. I think there's a kind of expectation here that you do want to, as part of helping grow this thing, that you're going to have kids.
I support the idea of a whites only town, but only because I want those racist bigots out of my fucking city. If all of the racists live in one little town, honestly, you're doing us a community service because we don't want you here. It's so funny to watch white supremacists get pressed over the fact that we don't give a fuck that they are creating their own little whites only town. Like, if you're gonna be a racist bigot, honestly, I think the best thing you can do is go create your own little town so we don't have to fucking deal with you. If all of the bigots live in one town, I know where to avoid and who not to talk to. At that point, you're doing community service.